Medical disclaimer. The content of this video is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition, and always get proper treatment for serious medical conditions. Legal disclaimer. Use only legal measures to combat the virus and cooperate with government officials, first responders and healthcare workers to make the coronavirus a thing of the past and create a perfect society ASAP. Use common sense, logic and help your fellow humans if necessary, also to lower the risk of being vaccinated mandatorily ourselves and to end the pandemic as soon as possible. The objective of my videos is not to slander people nor to incite or trigger people, but to do the opposite, exposing it when people are wrongly accused, and to create universal peace, world peace or just peace on earth. People are innocent till proven guilty in the court of law. One who knows of evidence must testify, not to convict anyone without a fair trial. Greetings, superior beings, greetings, supreme being. We are all the human race. Our common enemy is death. Welcome on Perfect Society. I'm Ulrich Hoffman. So, to keep it clear, I consider you a superior being, no matter what your skin color, religious preference, and sexual preference. Equal rights for all. I think that's an important ingredient for perfect society. So let's go immediately to the intro that I've prepared for you all. I've popped out the chat. I wrote it down here. The new anti-racist White Lives Matter WLM movement. If the Anti-Defamation League ADIL still thinks White Lives Matter is a racist movement, they should check my channel Perfect Society about my new anti-racist WLM movement. We can call that ARWLM, at least in the beginning, to keep clear. We're anti-white supremacy, we're anti-racism, we're not anti-white supremacists, etc. but anti-white supremacy, to keep it clear. So they should be arrested if they do illegal things. Hate speech laws, etc. have made this possible, and that's a good thing. And the people who are anti-racism know this. Because we have to balance Black Lives Matter, and the old White Lives Matter movement was not legal since it was created by white supremacists, racists that consider white superior, white supremacists, and therefore hate speech, since no race is superior and skin color is only skin deep. The new legitimate White Lives Matter movement has been created now, and the name of the movement is simply White Lives Matter. The racist WLM is illegal in many countries anyway and does not exist anymore. It is clear most white people are not racists, and there is less racism now than ever before. Slavery has been abolished, and we want to help keep it that way. Make no mistake, BLM is a radical neo-Marxist political movement. Telegraph.co.uk reports. I still have to verify that. Perhaps I can read that article in this show, in this live broadcast. And people can join my new White Lives Matter movement. Anti-racist_White Lives Matter at AOL.com. Let's copy this and see if we can open the article. Telegraph.co.uk.
Make no mistake.
BLM is a radical neo-Marxist political movement.
Okay. So we can read that article later on. First, I'm gonna read the rest of the thing I had prepared. I thought I can let the speech engine read it, but I think that's not as nice as reading it myself. So everybody can join, no matter what skin color you have, sexual preference you have, or what was the other thing? I already said it at the beginning. Let's read on. But I need to know these 3 things. I will get to it later. I think I wrote it in the article. Negative anion generators, ionizers. Good idea, but it's the wrong article. For the political ideology commonly associated with states governed by communist parties, see Marxism, Leninism. Communism killed 100 million people and all I got was this lousy unisex t-shirt. If BLM is so anti-capitalism, they should have a better alternative. So what's their alternative? Capitalism, you have 2 cows, you sell one and buy a bull. Communism, you have 2 cows, you give them to the government, and the government then gives you some milk. So we see or basically the story goes that we can see what happens in human history, and communism is no good according to lots of people. Democracy, true democracy, is best. Demos, rule of the people, not of a handful of elite that try to exterminate 7 billion of us and rule the world from Jerusalem. I've covered Jesuits and Masons in previous broadcasts, and the Jesuits are a military order posing as a religious order. I'm not going into that right now, but I've heard it said they fund both the KKK and the Black Panthers, according to online sources. So perhaps some people are trying to create a race or civil war. The Boogaloo Movement article I've covered, for example. And some people are trying to reduce the global population, proven beyond any reasonable doubt by their book quotes and $1 million Georgia Guidestones, their policies, their actions that speak louder than words, and their speeches, etc. So we have to prevent the abuse of depleted uranium, have a moratorium on depleted uranium so that it cannot happen again to ourselves, the human race. We must have a moratorium, according to the scientists, on 5G. 5G is a health hazard, in contrast to what the mainstream media and others may have claimed, proven beyond any reasonable doubt by the reproducible tests that we can do ourselves, that blood test with the microscope that I've talked about, that you can also see others do on YouTube, and the other reproducible studies and tests that I've covered in my previous broadcasts on this channel, Perfect Society, so check it out. BLM can change itself into a democratic, non-socialist communist movement. It doesn't have to be this way. Now about the new anti-racist White Lives Matter movement. What are our demands and what is our primary directive? 1. Expose racism aimed at white people. Watch a rash of attacks against white people. None are being charged as hate crimes on YouTube, for example. So this is just one example uploaded by the Daily Wire. More than 2 million subscribers, 119,994 views, June 24, 2020, 11k likes, 94 dislikes. So I'm not gonna show the violence in this video, but people can watch it for themselves, and it's just one example. So it is clear that racism versus white people still occurs as well, especially now with Black Lives Matter. Some people might misinterpret what they're saying, and at the moment you can also see live Johnny Depp libel trial against, quote, the Sun, unquote, starts at London High Court, stake out on Rutley, but until it begins that's not interesting. So this can become a huge movement in reality with your help. And without you all, I still exist, and my movement, anti-racist White Lives Matter. So we'll call ourselves WLM, since the other WLM is not allowed. It's clear that we are the anti-racist White Lives Matter, and most white people by far are anti-racism, and most black people and other skin-colored people as well. They understand color is only skin deep, meaning you cannot see or judge a person on their skin color. If I start tanning, then I get a darker skin, etc. It doesn't make me more or less intelligent. So, demands and primary directive expose racism aimed at white people. I would also expose and report other racism, by the way, so I'm really anti-racist. And exposing population reducers that are a threat to humanity, including the white people, and getting them arrested. Right, they're a threat to humanity, including the white people. I refrain from using the word white race, or I try to basically. I might have used it already, because we're all the human race. Our common enemy is death. So I don't see us as a separate race. We are subspecies, you could argue. And I can get into that. Caucasian, Australoid, etc. But people can just read the CIA Vatican edited Wikipedia article. Exposing population reducers that are a threat to humanity, including the white people, and getting them arrested. Right. Declare George Soros a terrorist and seize all of his related organizations' assets under RICO and NDAA law. We the people, your voice in our government, petitions.whitehouse.gov. I've covered it in my previous broadcast, so people can see it in there. And I might cover it again, because George Soros seems to be tied to Antifa and Black Lives Matter to a certain extent. So can anybody give me evidence that proves this in the chat, for example? That would be nice, and I can visit these links if you have important info. Hi Tony, peace. Thanks for the links. Other goals, and I can make you a moderator if you have links, and moderators are requested to not censor anybody, only to post the information. That's why I make people moderator, then they can post links to web URLs, and that's not possible without making them moderators. Okay, other goals and or demands can be added over time and depend on you all. Is my cam still on? Haha. Depend on you all. I already peaced Tony. When enough people join the new White Lives Matter movement, we can organize protests around the world, of course. So White Lives Matter doesn't necessarily have to be only about racism versus whites. We can unite against population reduction and for a moratorium on 5G and the extinction technology. The scientists want a moratorium on, and these are professors and doctors. They know what they're talking about. So we shouldn't believe people that claim that 5G is safe or that extinction gene drive technology is alright. Since I have other movements, I may decide to let others lead the new ARWLM movement when necessary. Everybody can join White Lives Matter, no matter what your skin color, sexual preference, and religious preference is. Join White Lives Matter now if you really are anti-racism. White Lives Matter is anti-fascism because fascism is one of the worst forms of government. White Lives Matter is 1. Anti-racism, 2. Anti-homophobia, pro-equal rights for all people regardless of sexual preference, 3. Anti-dictatorialism, liberty, freedom, security and safety is what WLM is about. True democracy, is there any better form of government? 4. Anti-imperialism, to maintain peace in our empires, nations. We are all the human race, our common enemy is death. Anti-racist _ White Lives Matter at AOL.com. Success, welcome to AOL. You can use this email to sign into AOL anywhere. In future, you can verify through email code. Shouldn't that be in the future? So that's my broadcast for now. So then we can switch to other stuff, or I can talk, I can answer your questions if there's anybody in the chat. It's still like 6:30 in the US, so not many people are awake in the US yet. And if you don't join, then you're gonna see more Black Lives Matter protests anyway. And who knows what these population reducers have planned. Well, I have an idea.
It's going to have to go to 7 billion people. It's going to have to go to 7 billion people.
This is a time for pulling out all the stops. Countries have been planning.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
You're going to have a deportation force, and you're going to do it humanely, and you're going to have a deportation force.
How dare you?
Master. Master.
Voor die lockdown.
Keep busting.
The CDC did.
WHO. We are now hunting. We are now hunting the virus.
I P-O-5 United World. What do you all think?
Alright, that's it for now. So yes, join White Lives Matter. I think it's great to cover both sides and that both sides are anti-racism. They are getting somewhere. I think this might lead to situations, you know, martial law, civil war. Some people are trying to bring about a race war. So how can we prevent this? What should be the goals of White Lives Matter? People can also Skype Prologic 999 to make a live broadcast together. I'll first record it, and then if it's not in violation of the YouTube user policy, then I'll upload it. So people don't have to try call me and get nude, etc. to get me banned. It's not going to work anymore. I'm not accepting any live callers. Unless I think they're alright and I've talked with them before, you know, then it's okay. So yeah, it depends on you all if White Lives Matter becomes a reality. Who cares about white lives? Is there anybody that really cares? I wonder. So see you all next time on Perfect Society, Kids for Single Ladies who would like one. Check my videos on my channel Perfect Society and do good stuff. Everybody can create their own movement. And wouldn't they have been called the anti-racism movement or something like that if they're truly anti-racism? Also, all lives matter may have some good points. I agree with some points of Black Lives Matter as well. Standing in solidarity with the peaceful protesters, not the ones that are not peaceful. I've covered the protester who claims that they get paid to protest, that he gets paid to protest. He was on the Young Turks, I think, and he gets paid from by George Soros, georgesoros.com. People can just sign up for protests, say how much money they want to make and how many protests they want to do. And I don't know if that is goal specific, if they're allowed to do any type of protest or demo, and or if they're instructed to use illegal civil disobedience or other things. So we can go into all that. So Skype Prologic 999 if you want to make a broadcast. I also have a Discord server, but I prefer Skype. And do things to spread peace, basically. Think about how we can end racism and create a perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally. Possible because of the neural networks, time-traveling neural network, and the fact that everything is energy, robots. So people will have a matter transformer, and they can transform air molecules into water or bread or whatever they like. Okay? So that whole structure has to be memorized by the computer, and then it can regenerate it and copy it. Everything is energy, so that's the one thing we have more of than anything else. You would argue time is a commodity. And the human brain has a limited neural capacity. But we try until we have created a perfected society. A perfect society. That's one in which maximum fulfillment is bestowed upon all organisms, especially the humans, of course, but also on the animals. And that will be possible with the neural network that can do billions of things simultaneously if you have enough neural networks. So then there is no use in reducing the global population if your goal is 100% mind control. It's just a matter of building more neural networks. Thank you all for watching. Tune in next time on Perfect Society. I'm Ulrich Hoffman. Thank you all for your likes, subscribes and shares on your timeline. I think it's important. We must have balance. Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter. Balance. Thank you all for watching. Peace. May peace be with you all.